Morning everyone, or should I say afternoon. Welcome to my live. I'm a little bit late. Morning Lynn, nice to see you. How very lovely to have everyone here. Just waiting for everyone to come. I'm very well, Lynn, thank you. How are you doing? Are you okay? Hello Alex, lovely to see you. Jasmine, morning. Vicky, hello. Oh, Amira, hello. Afternoon, you're right, it's afternoon, isn't it? How are you doing? Hope you are all right. Let's see who else is here. Oh, Jan, hello. Nice to see you. Welcome. I'm glad that you're back, even if you've been away for a while. Oh, Michelle says hello, even though she's working. Oh, okay. So Michelle Kitch, if you watch this on the YouTube, I hope that work was good today. And thank you for sending the message. Oh, Ali, hello. Oh, it's so nice to see you. I'm so glad you could join us. Welcome. All the way from Australia, I'm thinking. But lovely to see you. Lauren, good to see you too. It's so nice seeing all these familiar faces and familiar names joining us. Really, really good to see you all. How has your week been? Do you have a coffee with you? And if you haven't got a coffee, have you got another sort of drink? Have you got a glass of water? What's going on for you? What's your week been like? Let's see. Oh, San, it's so nice to see you too. Very lovely. How are you doing? How's your brother, San? I hope that he is doing all right, and I hope that you're all right. Alex B. Oh, you've not had a great week. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope that today, I hope that spending an hour with us can help you feel a little bit better. But, oh no, thank you very much for sending me roses. You're very kind. Gosh. Ellen, hello. Nice to see you. Let's have a look. Oh, Vicky's in Costa again, having a coffee. Sarah's got a tea. Excellent. I've just this minute managed to fly back from my friends. Well, I say fly, I mean drive really quickly, but very carefully from my friends, because I went for a cup of coffee this morning. And you know what it's like when we're chatting and I was like, oh my god, I've got to go. So I haven't had time to make myself a cup of tea or anything, but that's okay. I'm all coffeeed out, but I can live vicariously through what you're having. Ali says, thanks Sarah, so nice to see you. I might leave the psych ward next week. Wow, amazing. That would be great. If you can, if you're ready, then amazing. And if not, then hopefully it will be the week after that. But fingers crossed for you. I hope. That's good news, isn't it? I'm so pleased for you. That is great. Let's see. San says, I'm happy, brother is happy, but both in the same situation, but also grateful. Okay, so, well, I hope things start to get easier for you. Hello, Julie from California. Very nice to see you. Excellent. Jasmine, feeling tired this week. I think I've taken too much on. I'm doing it all really badly. So I think that that's a really important thing when we can reflect on how we're doing and how we're feeling. It's really important. And if you can notice, yeah, I think I've taken on a bit too much, then it's that question, what can I do about that? So what can you do, Jasmine, to help yourself to feel a little bit better? And hopefully this weekend you can take some time to chill and relax a little bit, and maybe sort of organise things so that you're not so overwhelmed. I hope so. Oh, Ali June, that's very nice. You have the most beautiful energy. Thank you so much. And Vicky says, make yourself a cute little drink, Sarah. Well, my husband has just arrived home, so I'm hoping that maybe he can make me a nice little drink. That would be good, wouldn't it? I'll have to shout him and say, let's have a look. So welcome everyone. There's a spider by the flowers on your bookcase. No, I don't think there is. I can't see one, but it's very welcome if there's a spider on the flowers by my bookcase. My husband is here. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I don't suppose you fancy making me a cup of tea, do you? Please. He is the best husband in the world. Oh dear. How's your morning been? You all right? How's your morning been?
Yeah, excellent. Thank you.
Good. Yes. So anyway, welcome to all of you who are arriving. My lovely husband is now making me a nice cup of tea. Aren't I lucky? That was very, very nice of him. This is a live that I do every Friday, and we are going to be talking about anxiety, about self-care, about how our weeks have gone. My name's Sarah, and I'm joined by a really lovely team of moderators. So Lynn 250, Vicky Hodgson, Jasmine, they're all here to keep this a really nice safe space. So I'm so grateful. They're not therapists, but they are people who have lots of experience in life and lots of experience moderating for me. And what we do is that we make sure that this stays a safe place. So if anyone's silly or rude or not very kind, then we either mute or block and go from there really. So hopefully everyone can feel very comfortable being here. This is going to be for an hour, and if you can't stay here then that's okay, because what I'll do is I always upload it onto my YouTube channel, which is Sarah Aries Therapy, and there's a link to that in my bio on my grid of my TikTok, so you can go and have a look on there. There's all of the lives that I've ever done are all uploaded to there. So if you can't stay, then hopefully you won't miss it if you go on there. This is all free. You don't have to subscribe or anything like that. It's all just a case of there's lots of resources on my profile, lots of videos, so you're very welcome to have a look at all of those. What else was I going to say? Oh yes, I was going to say as well, so the way the algorithm works, those of you who've been here before know this, but if you have got strong fingers and can tap the screen, then that sends little likes and love hearts, and it's completely free, but it lets the algorithm know that people are liking this live. If you don't like it, don't worry about it. You don't have to be doing any likes. But if you do send likes, then the algorithm goes, oh, this is something that people are interested in, and so it sends it to more people. And that's my aim, is to hopefully have as many people as possible to be helped by the stuff that we talk about on here. Also, if you share the live, you can share it to people that you think might be interested. If you want to follow me, then that's brilliant, and if you don't want to do any of those things, then no pressure, it's absolutely fine. There's loads of questions usually, so I'm going to stop waffling and get on and answer some questions, and we'll have a little look. Let's have a look. So, Jasmine says there's not really anything I can drop, just had another crap work week where I've messed up. Oh, well, be kind to yourself, Jasmine, because it's, I'm sure that you have had a lot of good things that you've done in your job this week, so give your focus to those good things as best you can, and hopefully over time you can have an easier week coming up, and things will get done, and things will be sort of filed away and sorted, and that will make it easier for you. Let's have a look. H says, oh no, not H, N says, I've been told I had PTSD and I'm scared. Okay, so I think the thing to remember is that any of these labels, any of these diagnoses that we're given, really they're helpful because they just tell the health professionals that you're working with what's going on for you, and it might help you because you can perhaps do some research into what that means, and then what it does is it enables you to find the right help for you. It doesn't mean that you're doomed to feel a certain way. I think that it's just, hopefully, if you can reframe that as that's a helpful thing. It doesn't mean that you're broken. It doesn't mean that you're doomed to live a certain life at all. A good friend of mine always says, accept the diagnosis, not the prognosis, because you are completely unique, you're an individual, and you can make your life what you want it to be. So hopefully, as well as giving you that diagnosis of PTSD, the people that you're working with can help you, because that's the thing that matters, isn't it? And a lot can be done for PTSD. So please, although it might feel a bit scary because it's the unknown, it's natural to feel a little bit apprehensive, because what's going on there is your brain is leaping into the future and thinking, oh blimey, PTSD, this means this and this means that. But actually what it means is it can mean something different for every single person. It doesn't mean that you're doomed. So please remember that. And I hope that helps a little bit. Hopefully, maybe have a little look at some of the resources on my page. Hopefully you can be with us for this hour, and that would be helpful. Can I just say a massive thank you to my husband, who's just brought me a very lovely cup of tea. Yes. So thank you, cheers, see you later. So hopefully that helps. Alex B, enjoy your lunch break. I'm glad that you're here with us. And Lynn, yes, thank you, Lynn, for saying it. I'm a QCH therapist. That stands for Quest Cognitive Hypnotherapy. And there's more information about that through my profile page again. And Alex B says, please don't tell me your husband is microwaving tea. No, he didn't. He made it properly with a kettle, and he's microwaving a baked potato. So you may rest assured that it's not microwave tea. They could obviously hear all that. Wendy, really nice to see you. So yeah, do send me a private message. I hope you're all right, Wendy. I think you're absolutely amazing. The work that you've been doing and the changes that you've made in your life. So yeah, I'll watch out for your message. Okay, and Lauren says, yeah, it's horrible. We're having a huge discussion here about microwave tea. It's not microwave tea, it's tea from a kettle and a tea bag. Okay, let's have a look. So I'm sorry, I'm sort of scrolling through here because there's lots and lots of messages, and sometimes they sort of ping by and I don't see them. Let's have a look. Okay, so I can't read your name properly. Kiln one. Currently I'm off work with anxiety and depression. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's hard, isn't it? I hope that you're getting lots of support from people to help you, and that work is supportive too. Let's have a look. And San, thank you. Yes, San is very helpful, saying tap and share, because it does help other people to see. But I need to get on answer some questions, don't I? So Ali June says, do you see many people with chronic OCD? It feels really hard to shake this. It consumes me. So I have worked, currently I'm not working with anyone who's got OCD. It is something that I've worked with in the past, and it's one of those things which I really feel for people like you who are suffering from OCD. It can be made worse by stress and by times when you feel really anxious. So the work that I've always done is working to help lower the anxiety around OCD. And I think the approach that the NHS uses is very much CBT based, looking at being aware of the OCD thoughts, and looking at being aware of them, delaying the need to actually take action. There's a unit near me. If you look at the QE2 hospital in Welwyn Garden City. They actually have a specialist OCD unit, so that might be something to look at. Yeah, so I think that's probably all I can say really helpfully on OCD at the moment. But definitely, I think it's such a specialist field that it's really worth finding someone. Have a look at OCD UK. They're a very good charity, and they have a good website with lots of information there about how to help yourself, how to get help. So I would have a look on there perhaps if you haven't already. Let's have a look. Just having a look for a question that I can answer. Okay, so Mummy Bear, 88. Sorry, my eyes are terrible. 88. I have anxiety from labour trauma. So that's I feel for you with that, because it's really it's a horrible thing to have. I think we go into childbirth, don't we, thinking, oh, it's all going to be lovely. And I remember with my first baby, I went into it thinking, oh, I'm going to have aromatherapy and candles and lovely music, and it all went a little bit wrong. And so it was tricky coming out of that. And I think the thing with anxiety of any type is that a significant emotional event, a traumatic event will happen, and it puts our nervous system into that fight or flight response, so that we can have flashbacks, we can be matched moments in our day, we haven't made matches with that traumatic event, and it's a horrible thing to experience. I think I think it's really important when you've been through an experience like that to potentially work with somebody to work through what's happened to you, and your perception of it, because it's not necessarily what happens to us. It is very much about our perception of the trauma that we go through, and how we can begin to reframe it, to begin to feel safe again in our own bodies, in our own environment. So there's a lot of work that we can do to help ourselves, but when there's something particular like that, I think it can be really helpful to work with a therapist. And there's lots of ways that we can find help, looking at charities that specialise. There's also, and I have colleagues who specialise in working with clients who have been through traumatic births. And so there's someone particularly called Claire Burgess who runs a training called Confident Childbirth, and she works particularly with women who've had a traumatic time in childbirth. So maybe have a look at her. She might be able to help you with that if you're not working with someone else already. Let's have a little look. There's lots of support here for Jasmine and the terrible week that you've had. I'm glad. I really love looking in the comments and seeing people being supportive. So yes, big love to you, Jasmine. I hope that people are nicer to you this coming week, because it's not fair when people are mean. So Sian says, I have a driving test coming up. It's making me anxious. Failed once already due to anxiety being bad. So wow. So good luck with the driving test that's coming up. I wonder, do you have any strategies, any techniques to help yourself feel calm? Do you do visualizations of passing it and being calm during your test? Because those things can be really helpful. There's lots of techniques on my page which can help you. And if you look back on my YouTube, Sarah Aris Therapy, about on the lives, if you look in the descriptions, there's a few times that we've talked about driving tests that people have had coming up. And so that might be helpful for you to look at. I think being able to calm yourself in the days leading up to the test, to understand how to be in the moment during the test, and to understand that actually whether you pass, whether you fail, it's all a learning curve, it's all a learning experience. Maybe to be looking at, okay, what is it that I'm frightened of? What is my brain taking me to in the future? Is it imagining that something particular is going to happen in my test? Is it something that I'm not good at? Parallel parking, something like that. And that makes me feel really nervous. Or is it that you're afraid of being afraid? Is that the thing that if you failed last time because you felt so anxious, maybe your brain's thinking, oh no, I'm going to feel really anxious next time I do my driving test. And so that's the thing, the fear of the fear is getting in your way. So have a look at those things. Have a look at some of the techniques that I share. The breath techniques can be really helpful, just to slow your breath, to be present. Obviously, when you're driving, I want you to be concentrating on your driving, so you can't be doing any of these things, but you can in the time and the days leading up to your test. So hopefully that helps a little bit. But good luck. Let us know, Sian, how you do. Yeah. Good luck. I just hope it goes really well. So Kiln 1, whereabouts are you based? So I'm in Hertfordshire, in Welwyn Garden City, in the UK. But to be honest with you, the majority of my work is online. I work with people from all over the world online, as do most of my colleagues. So although I do see people face to face in person, then it doesn't have to be a barrier where you are in the world. So Annalisa says, is PTSD quite common? Adverse life situations cause me PTSD several times. Recovery is possible. You're absolutely right, Annalisa. I mean, PTSD is not something that I personally work with. It's not my area of expertise. I do have colleagues that, if people approach me and say, I've been diagnosed with PTSD, then I'm happy to refer on to colleagues who specifically work with people who are experiencing PTSD. So I don't really know how common it is. I think that there's a difference between, so all of us, whatever we're feeling, whether it's anxiety, depression, fear, it will be caused by something. There will be a significant emotional event that's happened to us in our lives, which will cause us to be in this protective behaviour. PTSD is something that is going to be diagnosed probably by a psychiatrist who obviously has a whole lot more training than me. But I think you're absolutely right, Annalisa, that PTSD, and this is something that the N was talking about earlier on, who was frightened because they've been diagnosed with PTSD, is that sense of it's not a sentence, it's not a life sentence, it's not something that you are never going to recover from. You absolutely can live a full and happy life, even though you've been through really difficult times and have been diagnosed with PTSD. So I hope that helps, and thank you for that comment, Annalisa. Alex V says, me and my therapist are going to go for a walk in our session next week. That's so cool. I'm not surprised that you're excited. That is so good. Sakiblovich. Hello, my beautiful queen traveller from London. Long time out of my radar. Good to see you. It is so nice to see you again, all the way from Melbourne. It is lovely to have you here. So welcome. Really nice to see you. Cute KB, sorry, it's my eyes. I've got it on an enlarged screen. I still am rubbish at seeing. Hello, do you do one-to-one sessions remotely or online? I'm based in Ireland. Yes, I do mostly online using Zoom, but I also do some face-to-face sessions with some people from around here, but it's mostly online. If you go and have a look through my profile, my website is there, and there's lots of info there about sessions. Now, so it's interesting. So, Alex B, you're talking about doing therapy outside. I've done that a few times actually with clients, and it's really special. It's a lovely thing to do, to go for a walk in nature, and yeah, it's quite nice. That side by side talking is a really lovely way to go. So it's a really nice thing to do. I think the thing that perhaps holds people back is the sort of insurance and all that boring kind of stuff, the health and safety, that kind of thing. But it's, if you get the chance to do that with your therapist, it's such a lovely thing to do. Let's have a look. So welcome to everyone who's joining us here. It's really lovely to have you here. I'm Sarah. I'm joined by my lovely moderators, keeping this a safe space. We're talking about anxiety, talking about self-care. I haven't really answered many questions today. My apologies for that. I've talked on about a few things, but I haven't talked about stuff very much today. So I'm waffling a bit today. My apologies for that. But you're very welcome being here. So thank you for being here. Vicky's said, I've had a terrible week with anxiety this week, but your breath techniques have been really helping. I'm so glad that they've helped, and I'm sorry that you've had a difficult week, Vicky. If any of you are having trouble, if you're having a difficult time at the moment, breath work can be really helpful. And I know for some people it can be a little bit worrying. Breath work can be that thing of, oh my God, am I breathing in? Am I breathing out? Oh, I can't do it. Hopefully some of the techniques, there's a section in my categories on my TikTok profile page with purely breath techniques. Do go and have a look and just see if there's anything there that might help you. It helps to send a physical message to your nervous system that you are safe and present, and it can slow your heart rate, and it can bring you to a place that is much more pleasant to be in. So even if it doesn't work great for you the first time, if you persevere, there's some very nice simple things for you to do. So thank you for mentioning that, Vicky. Let's have a look. Oh, Elizabeth Malmros, it's so lovely to see you. I hope you're okay. So there's a couple of things here. So Hannah, my fear of going outside is awful. I'm missing out on everything. I can't leave my house. And Dawn, sorry, I'm just making a note of that. Dawn saying, I'd like to know any coping techniques I can use. I have a terminal illness. So, gosh, well, you know, both Dawn, these comments have all flipped forward. So Dawn and Hannah, I'm sorry to hear both of you are going through difficult times. It's really, really hard, isn't it, when you have stuff like that going on in your life? So if I take them both separately, I think, if I talk to Hannah first, so that not being able to leave the house because of anxiety, I'm assuming it's because of anxiety. It's really hard. And what's happening there is that your brain is trying its best to protect you. For some reason, it's decided that the world is a scary place and that you need to be somewhere safe. And what happens is that our world gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So perhaps it might, you know, it could be that your house is your safe place. It might be that your bedroom is your safe place. And it's really hard because actually what it's telling you is not true, but it feels really true. And our brains don't know the difference between an imagined reality and a present reality. So if we're imagining, if I go out of the house, these terrible things are going to happen to me. So Alex is saying here that she feels, oh, sorry, I'm saying she, I don't know, I can't see your photograph, so you might be she, he, or they. My apologies. I hope that I'm just looking at your comment, and you're saying that you feel contaminated when you go out. So there's lots of those things that you can feel, that the world is not a safe place, that you feel contaminated, that terrible things might happen. And when you're in that closed loop of belief caused by trauma that you've been through, whatever that might be, whether for Alex it's for you it's COVID, for other people it might be experiences that you've had, it feels really real, and your nervous system doesn't care whether it's true or not. It doesn't want to take a chance. It would rather put you into protection and make you feel all of the things that you feel, the physical symptoms, the feeling of dread, the overthinking, all of that kind of stuff. It would much rather that it triggered you into that and you kept safe than to take a chance and for you to think, well, actually it might be okay if I go out, and then you go out and you realize, oh no, actually I'm not safe. So I think the thing to do is small steps. The thing to realize is that even though rationally you know that it's safe out there, that you could go and stand on your front doorstep, or you could walk to the lamppost in your street and come back again, and that you would be safe, rationally you know that, we're not dealing with your rational mind. What we're dealing with is your limbic system, with your nervous system, with your protective response, and all it wants you to do is to survive. So what we do is, the stuff we can do for ourselves is to create an environment of safety, to begin to do things which you really love and enjoy. And if you can't leave the house, then to be doing things which you can do within the house that feel safe, that feel that you're beginning to connect. So whether you're connecting with other people through like FaceTime, stuff like that, Zoom, whether you're connecting with nature by sitting by an open window and listening to the birds, watching the clouds in the sky, whether you're learning or creating in your safe environment, then that's the thing that begins to make a difference. And it's about trying to make that green zone, your safe environment, a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. So it begins to stretch into the place that's outside of your house. So it's not about going, right, I'm going to do this thing which feels really scary for me and push myself to an extreme. That's not what we want. What we want is to just push into the amber zone a little bit and then come back to safety. And that gives your brain evidence that it's okay, that you're all right. And everyone's different. So for some of us, it's easy to stretch into the amber zone, and in that amber zone we're in growth. For others of us, it's much harder because our brain has perhaps been stuck in this loop for a longer time, or perhaps everything is just telling you this, don't do this, don't leave the house. But actually, if you can just make small steps, tiny steps, come back to safety. Tiny step further, come back to safety. And every time you're doing that, your green zone is just beginning to stretch out. So your amber zone becomes your green zone, your red zone becomes your amber zone. And that's the way that it works. So self-care, self-compassion, all of those things can help. The physical stuff that I share on my page, like breath techniques, visualizations, physical stuff like this technique that is one of my pinned posts, all of those things can be really helpful. And also working with a health professional, whether it's someone like me, whether it's finding the right person that you feel comfortable, that you click with. It doesn't really matter the modality, the sort of therapy that they're working within. It's much more about that person. The work that I do with QCH and that my colleagues do is very practical. It's not just about talking about how rubbish everything is and swimming around in the mire. It's much more about, yes, life is really hard. What can we do about it? So it's a very practical technique, but that doesn't suit everyone. So it's finding the right thing for you. So I hope that helps a little bit, Hannah. I think the thing to remember is that you absolutely can make change. And if you are working with someone, if you're doing work and it's not creating change, if you feel like I'm just going round and around in this loop, then consider changing who you're working with so that you can make change. Therapy is about creating change. It's not just about going, yeah, I'm in a really rubbish place here and it's awful. It's about making change, because surely that's what we're here for as therapists. It's to help people have life skills to be able to move to a place where they can live life. So I hope that makes sense. So an LDK, so you're saying I also have the issue of feeling contaminated, and you're saying would recommend looking into CBT. So yeah, I mean, CBT is a thing that the NHS recommends, but do look into QCH as well, because we have a research study. It's only a small research study, but actually our results for that are very good. And the results show that of people who came with anxiety, with depression, they came to see a QCH therapist, and in an average of 6 sessions, 71% of them said that they felt that they no longer had that issue, compared to about 42% of people who go to other therapies. So I'm not saying it works for everyone. Obviously, there's the 29% that didn't have that experience, but do have a think. Through my profile page, there's the QCHPA therapist finder. So if you're interested, go and have a look at those resources. Let's have a little look. So Dawn was saying that you have a terminal illness, and to think about some techniques to help you with that. So I'm so glad that you're here today, and they're so glad that hopefully I can share some things with you that are really helpful. I've worked with a few people over my time as a therapist who have been going through have been diagnosed with terminal illness, and I think it's one of those things that obviously, until you're there, none of us know how we're going to respond. We just don't know how we're going to react, and everyone reacts differently. Some of the calming techniques that I share on my page, there are breath techniques. There is the whole sense of self-care, of being in the moment, because when our life in the future is very, very uncertain, we tend to be leaping ahead, and we tend to go for worst case scenario, because as human beings, we do have a negative bias. We tend to be imagining the worst case scenario, and actually although we tend to think of it being very black and white, that it's best case or worst case, we can work all the time to move away from worst case as best we can and towards best case as best we can. So even if we know that in our future there is going to be a moment when we're no longer here, and we can be afraid of what that entails, if we can make the most of the moment that we're in here and now, that can be really helpful, and to learn how to be calm in the moment. So some of the pinned posts particularly that I've got on my grid, Dawn, hopefully would be helpful for you. Some of the breath techniques. There's also techniques in the categories. EFT or tapping can be really helpful, because that works on both a physical level, and it also works in a cognitive level, working our way through our fears. So next week, funnily enough, so I was next week going to be doing a live talking to Hazel Gale, who's the co-creator of Betwixt the Story of You app, and is also connected to Clementine. They've had a delay launching the app, so we're not going to be doing that. But what I think I might do next week, if you're interested, is to do a live EFT session, so we can do some tapping with each other. So it's much more of a practical thing. So let me know in the comments if that's something that would be helpful. So Ella says, do you have any tips for ED, which I'm taking you mean eating disorders by that. That's not an area that I'm massively knowledgeable about, but I do have a colleague. If you look up Julie Holland hypnotherapy, she does some really great posts on TikTok about that. So I would say go and have a look at her page. And on my YouTube, Julie and I did a live a few weeks ago together about that very topic. So hopefully that would be helpful for you. So do go and have a look. Julie Holland hypnotherapy. So Oh, Elizabeth, thank you. This is my new shirt. So Elizabeth is liking my clothes that I'm wearing today. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And Elle, oh, is that? Oh, let me put my glasses on. Ellie, thank you very much for being so complimentary about me. Ems says, what do you think about clients who reach out to you between sessions? Okay, so I have this on my contract that reaching out in between sessions, it needs to be appropriate. For me, most people don't. Most people don't reach out. Most people they get on with the homework that I've sent them and so on. However, if it's appropriate, like obviously if someone reaches out to me and it's 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm not even going to see it because I'm going to be asleep and I'm not going to see it on my phone. If someone needs me, then I have to make that balance of understanding I'm not the fourth emergency service. So sometimes it's more appropriate for them to reach out. Either maybe they might have a GP, might have a doctor. It really depends on what the situation is for them. If it's a non-urgent thing, then I do say to people, it's okay. If you want to get in touch in between sessions, if you have any thoughts, any questions, please feel free to email me or WhatsApp me. It's fine. And I think the vast majority of people are just completely normal people who don't take advantage of that. You know, I love when people, I always remember I have this amazing client when I first started. And one of the things that she did is like, we'd been working towards her being able to do this thing. And she texted me and I was on holiday and I got the text through with her just saying, I did it. And I was like leaping around my hotel room. I was so chuffed. And I would never have thought that that was inappropriate. For me, that was like amazing. I love that she felt comfortable enough to reach out and tell me that she'd succeeded in the thing we'd been working towards. So yeah, that's my thoughts on reaching out in between sessions. I hope that makes sense. Let's have a look. Oh, so Farm Girl from Tennessee. Hello from Tennessee. You are very welcome here. Nice to see you. Let's have a look. Oh gosh, that's so. Hannah says, I can't leave my house. My friends have forgotten me. I can't go anywhere. It's so isolating. It's a horrible, horrible feeling. I do feel for you, Hannah. I hope that some of the stuff that I mentioned there, and I have talked about this sort of situation before, so maybe go and have a look on my YouTubes and see that. Let's have a look. Okay, let me just scroll through some of these. Do you like it if a client shares an achievement with you in between sessions? So yeah, absolutely. I love it. I always say, I mean, I tend to finish my emails, particularly the first email, you know, after the first session, I'll sort of say, if you have any thoughts or questions, feel free to reach out to me. It's absolutely fine. And I say to them, you know, if I can answer, if it's appropriate, the right timing, then I will. If I can't, then I can't. But if someone wants to ask me a question or says, I just wanted you to know that I've been out and I've gone walking, I love that. I love it. For me, it's a team thing. We're doing this together. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see. Okay. Let me just, there's a few. Okay, so tapping. Amira asks what's tapping. If you have a look on my profile page again, there's lots of videos about tapping. Tapping is emotional freedom technique. You tap on various parts of your body whilst talking, and it is based on various things, acupuncture pressure points. No one really knows why it works, but it does. It reduces anxiety by about 40%. It reduces the cortisol levels by 25%. It's a pretty amazing thing. I was a bit dubious when I first learned it. I thought, oh, what's this about? But I use it all the time now. So it's a very useful thing. Let's have a look. Mia Wood says, is it appropriate to thank your therapist with some kind words when you finish therapy? Well, yeah, why not? I mean, I know that, there are different types of therapy and people have different kind of rules and ways that they work. And maybe for some people, that's just not the way they work. And I totally respect that. But for me personally, I'm just a person having a conversation with another person who's come to me because they need help. And in my sessions, we laugh, we chat about stuff, we chat about the difficult times, we enthuse about the good times, we do practical work to help the person achieve. So, when we come to the end of a session, the ending of therapy is very important. It's important to end well. And I always say, often people say to me, I'm so grateful for everything. And I always say, this is a team effort. This isn't actually about me at all. It's about you as a client. You are the person who's gone away and done the homework. You are the person who has become curious about the way you are living and behaving. You are the person who's done this, and you now have a recipe for life. So, for me, that's the main thing. It's really lovely, when people write nice things about me. And I think, again, I want to honour that in a client. For me, if I go somewhere and someone gives me good service, then I would always say thank you. I don't expect anyone to say thank you to me. I don't need it. But I think if someone does want to say thank you, if someone does say thank you, then I want to honour it by saying, it's absolutely my pleasure. I really appreciate you, saying that, but also remember that it's you that's achieved this. So I hope that makes sense. Let's have a look. Okay, my eyes are terrible. Let's have a look. So Evie Hunt says, any advice for having major anxiety around food because of an irrational fear of being sick? So I think that's a really good question, and I've sort of looked at this before. So there's a thing called emetophobia, and that sounds like what you've got at the moment, and it's a really it's a horrible thing to have, and it can happen for all sorts of reasons. Generally, it will have happened because of a significant emotional event that's happened in your life. Sometimes it can be not even about the being sick. It can be about control. So it can be about all sorts of things. And I've gone into this much more in videos in my on my profile page. But I think that with emetophobia, it can be really helpful to work with someone, because if you're struggling by yourself and not working with anyone, then it's quite a tricky thing to go through by yourself. So if I was you, I would reach out for help, either from your doctor. You can have a look at the QCHPA Therapist Finder, and it's well worth working with someone to work out, what is it about this, where has it come from, what can I do about it. So I hope that helps a little bit. There is more on my profile page if you wanted to have a little look. Imogen, it's very lovely to see you. Now let's see, Mariam, I know you were saying, is it all right if you share? So I don't know if you have. It's absolutely fine, as long as everyone can share whatever they'd like to share. Okay, so let's see. Basically, my attachment style has been triggering me, causing me some anxiety because of someone. Okay. Yeah. So I think it's tricky, isn't it, when you're being triggered by another person. I think it's interesting to look for patterns. Look for a pattern of what's actually going on for you, and what is it about this person. And maybe, I don't know if you're working with anyone at the moment to help you to sort of reflect on what's happening for you. So you can do all the stuff that I talk about, with creating an environment of safety, doing calming techniques. But I think with this sort of thing, perhaps it can be helpful to actually talk to a professional, but it's not necessarily the way forward. So I hope that helps a little bit. I'm not sure if it does, but I hope so. So Meg says, do any clients watch your live? Well, yes, they do. I know that there's a few of my clients watch my live, and I know that, you know, people who watch my live have become my clients. So yeah. Let's have a look here, see if I can. We're kind of drawing to the end there. So Selena Christine says, does long time in anxiety and stress can go into schizophrenia? So schizophrenia is not something that I work with. It's beyond my training. And I would say no. I think that schizophrenia is something completely different. And, you know, people can suffer from anxiety for their whole lives because of stuff that's happened to them, and that does not mean that you're going to shift into a mental illness like schizophrenia or psychosis of any type. So the answer to that is no. Let's have a look. So Abida, I can't say your name. Abidabdub. I hope that's right. How do you feel about using anxiety medication to help acute anxiety, at least short term? So obviously I'm not a doctor, I'm not medically trained, so it's not really for me to comment on meds for people. But, you know, I work with people who are on meds that the doctor has prescribed for them. I work with people who are not on medication. And really it's something that you need to discuss with your doctor. I absolutely think that at times medication can be that thing that gives people a breathing space, because sometimes you're just so acutely affected by what you're going through that it just gives you a place to just pause and calm your system. But I do think that it's really important that people also have talking therapy of whatever suits them, whatever they want. I think that's very, very important. So those are my views on that. I hope that answers your question. Elizabeth, it's so lovely to have you here. So Elizabeth says, I'm so grateful for this time every Friday with you, Sarah, and all of you here. And it's just really, really lovely of you to say that, Elizabeth. It's always great. You know, we see, so my team, Vicky and Lynn and Jasmine, we see are regular lovely people who come every week, and I feel like it's a proper community here. I hope so. I see you chatting with each other, and I see, you know, the videos that I post in the week, you're there and commenting on that. And I really hope that all of the stuff, the free resources through my profile page, all of these things, I so hope that they help people. And because that's what we're all about, you know, as a team. I might be the one that you see here, but actually in the background, Lynn and Vicky and Jasmine are answering questions from people who are asking stuff, and, you know, keeping it a safe space. So, yeah, it's just lovely to have you here, Elizabeth, and I'm glad if we make a difference to people's lives. Oh, Lindsay, you are so lovely. Thank you. Imogen, I'm really well, thank you. I hope you are too. It is lovely to see you. Let's have a look. My eyes are hurting today. I'm going to put my glasses on. So Katie says, how to deal with anxiety of being around toxic people in a working environment. Okay, so I really feel for you if that's your experience, Katie. I really feel for you, because it is absolutely horrible. And I think that probably if you're in that place and you're feeling really anxious, then that's a very normal response. And I think that the thing with anxiety is like, you know, when you're in an environmental anxiety, if you were to parachute in and anyone who's just living their life, and if you were to put them in your situation at work and they started feeling anxious because of a toxic environment, because of toxic people, because of the way the business is run, then that is not that that shows us there's nothing wrong with you. It is totally about the work environment. So there's stuff that you can do. So I would think there's a few things. What can you practically do to change that environment? Is there something you can do by going to HR, by starting a formal complaint procedure, which I know is like a big sort of, oh my God, I don't want to do that. But if it's the only way you can create change, is that the route to go for you? Also, to begin to be looking for an escape route, to be thinking, okay, I can't stay here. This is not good for my mental health. So what else can I do? Can I remove myself from this situation by finding another job, by moving to another department, all of that kind of thing? And, you know, your job, your work has a responsibility. They have a duty of care to you. So really, they should not be creating a toxic environment. But I know that that's easy for me to say when you're in, particularly some of these big companies, awful to work for. So I think you can manage the situation by realizing that it's not about you. I always remember working at a particular job where I was being bullied by an absolute cow, excuse my French, but she was awful. And I really began to question myself. I thought, I've been in this job for 12 years. I've never had a problem. I've always got on really well with everyone. And this person is making me question myself, and it's horrendous. And I always remember walking along the corridor, and another person, another very senior member of staff, stopped me and said, Sarah, and she took me in her arms and she gave me the biggest cuddle, and she said, I want you to know it's not you. And I just burst into tears, as you can imagine. But I will never forget her words, because it made all the difference. It made me realise this is not about me. I'm behaving normally in an abnormal situation. So, as I say, managing it, it's about making everything as practically as pleasant as possible for yourself by practical means, but also making outside work as great as you possibly can. Self-care, self-compassion, being with people outside work that make you feel good about yourself, using breath techniques, calming techniques, all of that kind of thing. But do not stand for it. If there's anything you can possibly do to change that environment, even if it does mean leaving, then do it, because life is short and you don't have to suffer that kind of abuse, really. So I hope that helps a little bit. Let's have a look. Okay, glasses on again. Oh, thank you, Abida. Oh, I can't say your name. Abida Dub. So thank you for your kind comment. That's very nice. Yeah, Garden Room Newbie says it's good advice. It's hard not to take it personally when you're targeted. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is completely natural to begin to think, this must be me. I must be losing my mind. I must, all of that stuff. But actually, keep the good people close to you, you know, and it may well be that you're not alone, and you can sort of, I think if you can carefully find out, you know, am I the only one here? Is this a whole culture? Is it my boss? Where can I go to get help? Then that can be good. Let's have a little look. I saw one here. It annoys me when these things, they fly through and I miss stuff. Oh, Cleo's saying, hey, hope you're well. I suffer general anxiety and now I have perimenopause. Joys. Yeah. So I feel for you. It's hard, isn't it? Perimenopause does make everything a bit more intense. So there's a really helpful, so Menopause UK is a really helpful website. lots of helpful stuff. And Pat Duckworth, if you Google her, she has loads of really interesting and helpful stuff about menopause. So yeah, hopefully that can help. And all of the stuff applies around anxiety for you. So I'm going to have to bring all this to a close, I'm afraid. I'm really aware that I have not answered everyone's questions and comments. So I'm sorry about that. So, oh, what have you pinned? A little bit of good news. Oh, that's so cool. Lynn says, a little bit of good news, Sarah. I got my mobility scooter yesterday. I can take my dogs for a walk. Yay. That is so good. I love that. So Lynn is my moderator, and I just love the fact that you've got that freedom now. Amazing. That's so good. I love it. I hope the weather is really nice for you this summer so you can go out lots. Really good. So I'm gonna bring it all to a close. Whilst we're sort of closing and saying goodbye, who else has got some good news? Let's end on some good news. Some things that have gone well for you this week. Some stuff that maybe even this live has given you a little bit of hope. Some things that you're going to try. It will be really nice to see those things. Oh, Angel Kate, yes, I'm sorry, I missed most of your live. Did you start earlier, Sarah? Yes, I made a big boo-boo because oh God, in fact, I should have finished. I've got an appointment at 1:30. So I really need to go. I'd totally forgotten. Yes, so I'm going to have to go because I've got someone waiting for me on a Zoom. Oh, I'm so sorry. But thank you for being here. I'm going to be doing a live next week. And I really appreciate you all being here. Thank you to my moderators. It'll be 2 p.m. next week. My apologies for having to run off. And I will see you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.